Resistance at 32 for a while now. False break. Wait, no. RSI's at 30. Tight build up. 30 to 32. No way. Holy shit. It's coming.
All right, back after a week off. Welcome back to Stock Talk Live. Hit the post here, doing the intro while Robbie fixes a computer issue. Should just be another 3-4 minutes, he said. So I'll just open the show. A little small talk. Don't want to get into too much. I want to bounce some ideas off of him, get his opinion. Yeah, so it took last week off around election time. I get into full election mode, and I just told Robbie we were in the backstage, the green room, and I said around election time, I'm at work all day listening to conservative podcasts, and then I go home and I just want to watch InfoWars for hours. So InfoWars here, I throw on election night or something, I'll throw basic cable up on one of the TVs, get some other polling data, multiple sources, always good. Quick rundown of the market today. I pulled before I left work. I just took a quick peruse of some market movers. Bank of America stock today down. Carnival stock today down. Target stock today down. Roku stock today down. We don't really talk too much about crypto on this show. We mostly talk stocks, but crypto is going to be a big topic once Robbie gets back. FTX in the news, filed for bankruptcy. But I saw another crypto related story before I left work. Here's Robbie. It's just doing a little buying some time.
FTX, man, Jesus Christ, I can't believe that company.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I was just saying, before I left work, I caught a couple market movers and I just wrote them down. Bank of America stock today down. Carnival stock today down. Target down. Roku down. Bitcoin's under 17,000. And bringing that back to crypto, what I was just saying, saw a headline. There was a crypto wallet today holding 550 Ethereum, which is a considerable amount of money. Like that's 550 times what, 1,300 roughly. This wallet was activated after lying dormant for 7 years. And so all this Ethereum that's on this wallet is said to be from like pre-mining days. Like this is originally issued Ethereum, not tokens or coins that this user had mined. 7 years he just did. That's diamond hands, baby. Just put it in the wallet and don't even touch it. 7 years, wow.
Oh, he just let that.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. It's like 65 grand, I think. I mean, the whole FTX thing is just crazy. I mean, the more
FTX is nuts. And that's I named the episode FTX was a fraud the whole time. Because it made me think of this one.
He was dead the whole time. Stop it.
Sixth Sense. He was dead the whole time.
The whole thing. I mean, it's just nuts.
It's a
Like,
Ponzi scheme of
it is a
Ponzi
Ponzi
schemes.
scheme. I know. And like, and so many people, like, and famous people for whatnot in countries, obviously, were in on it, which is really crazy to me. I mean, I had to laugh when they said that Ukraine had invested in FTX and they were upset.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. Brady,
yeah.
Giselle, Steph Curry, Mr. Wonderful. We'll get to him later.
I know. It's really like I mean, it's unfortunate, obviously, because people lost a lot of money and whatnot.
This is a
but
huge company that went bankrupt in like less than a week.
I know.
Just the cards came tumbling down. It's an unbelievable $39 billion, right?
Yeah, and not only that, but like their assets they held at the time was like 9 billion, and the liabilities were like 90 or something. I mean, it's just
their lender BlockFi also preparing for bankruptcy.
yeah. No, I know.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
go ahead.
No, I mean the people involved in that are just, they were like in the Bahamas. They were. I mean, they're just. I don't know. I don't know how you miss. I mean, God. I mean, whoever audited their books is, their fucking reputation's done.
It's crazy.
Rest in peace with Arthur J. Anderson. Arthur Anderson.
To break it down, we got 4 viewers, Robbie. Like, this is double what we normally get. To break it down, what was going on with FTX? This is what I've been saying all along with what your broker may or may not be doing when you buy shares. Is people were putting in money to FTX. It's an exchange, so you can buy, sell coins, crypto. So that I suspect people were putting money in. I'm going to buy, let's make it easy, a Bitcoin, one whole Bitcoin. And so they update your account on FTX, says here's your new balance, but they never bought it. And they took your money and they made more bad bets. And then when you go to withdraw it, then it's not there. So everybody tried to withdraw at the same time. There's a run on the exchange, and now they've filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah, that's something. It really is. I mean, basically, any scheme is going to be brought down when there's a run on, like, a withdrawal run. I mean, look what happened to Bernie Madoff. I mean, the effects of this are pretty widespread. I mean, I was just reading real quick. I mean, FTX has 1 million creditors. Think about that. I mean, the bankruptcy filing is just going to be ridiculous.
This is a huge company. I tell people, like, I'm explaining this story to friends who don't really follow crypto or the market or anything. And I say, you ever watch MLB? Yeah, I've watched baseball before. You remember how the umpires, all of them have FTX on their uniform? This was a huge company. And it's just a good practice, a good lesson to learn. Don't keep your crypto on an exchange if you're going to buy it at all. What people should have done is put money in, bought coins on FTX, and withdrawn them immediately to a cold wallet or some other wallet.
Yeah.
Don't keep it on the exchange, because if there's a run, then they're going to say, hey, nobody can withdraw right now, and you're fucked.
They basically did do that.
They did.
They basically said, hey, you can't withdraw. Like,
because there's no money. It's gone.
Yeah,
gone.
No, it was gone. I mean, the other thing too, I think a lot of people with FTX, I mean, they talk about like, oh, well, they name a lot of famous people who have gotten. I mean, everyday Americans have gotten killed by this. I mean, people probably have lost I mean, obviously this is pure speculation. People have lost like their life savings. People have lost their retirement. People, I mean, a very big crater has just fallen in the ocean, and the waves are just. I mean, and the ripples from that wave are just starting to be felt.
I mean, there's going to be legislation because of this. And I messaged you over the weekend, I think it was. You look back at an Enron, and it's easy to say now, how are they allowed to do their accounting on mark to market? What is that? and they just made it up. They
No.
said, "Oh, we project that our profits are going to be this. Okay, book it."
I mean,
how is that
Enron-
allowed to go on? How was this allowed to go on?
I think Enron. Well, I mean, Enron basically they, they were once part of the Big Five.
That was one yeah, that's one portion of it. But mark to market,
oh, no, mark to market was ridiculous. I mean, come on, like, Enron. The one thing about Enron that was, really obviously corrupt and really illegal is that, and I mean, a lot of not PwC, but a lot of Enron executives would push the auditors to, to basically accept
give us what we want, or we're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and what also they would do is that Enron made up like Arthur Andersen's like 25% of their revenue, so they would bring in like PwC for like little jobs in Deloitte and other audit firms on the side to basically be like, hey, like we can go somewhere else.
That's from The Big Short. He says, why do you give them the credit rating that they want? If we don't give them what they want, they'll go down the street to Moody's.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then the other thing too, which I think a lot of people forget with Enron is, when Arthur Andersen, when they finally figured it out, like, hey, this is just this isn't working. A lot of those guys stupidly just started destroying evidence. I mean, they probably could have saved the firm somewhat if they didn't start, shredding documents and all that stuff. But I mean, as soon as you start doing that, I mean, it's just game over.
FTX did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
they just had like a script or something that it just wiped like all their stuff.
No, I know.
Now,
what's even more interesting about this is that if it ever comes out that one of the Big Four actually was involved. And when I mean the Big Four, I mean PwC, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, and what's the other one? Shit, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I should know this.
KPMG.
Yeah, I have bad memories. Just kidding. No, but those are the big. So if any of those are involved,
I had to think for a second.
Yeah, I know. You never think of KPMG though. But what are you gonna do? But you have to think if one of those guys is involved, or excuse me, firms is involved. I mean, that's a huge reputational hit. And I mean, a lot of people.
And then it might be the Big Three because it used to be the Big Five, and Arthur Andersen closed.
I know. I mean, and it does get. I mean, I think it. For certain firms, it does definitely get competitive for business. There's no doubt about that. I mean, people. People want to be like reputation's everything, and if you can prove that your opinions and whatnot are rock stock, smoke and barrel. Man, that's what companies want, and investors alike. I mean, and it is weird to me that this all broke after the election, but whatever. It's tinfoil hat.
Very weird. Very weird.
It's also a bad look on the United States SEC. The fact that yet again another company has completely like cooked the books and whatnot, and yet we are so behind the eight ball.
Gary Gensler is under fire right now.
I mean, probably shouldn't have
a lot of
job.
people very critical of him right now.
Yeah, I mean,
rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean the amount of people that have lost their, lost revenue. Lost savings and lost whatever. Somebody's head's got to roll because of it.
Yeah, you think about how many losers. There's very, very few winners.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely, there's very few winners. I mean, I don't think a lot of people can't really short FTX. I mean, you can try, but
we're back down to one viewer. Just to clarify, if you're or anybody that might be listening to this after the fact, if you're looking in the news and you see SBF, that's Sam Bankman-Fried, he was the CEO of FTX. I guess is still the CEO, right? Or did they take him out? Was the CEO of FTX.
Yeah, I think they took him out. I mean,
he's that fat vegan that ran off to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything to him. There's a reason that he's located in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I mean, is the Bahamas one of the 7 countries that won't extradite or something.
Yeah. So to round in politics, I got our old friend. He's back again.
Oh God, Ken Griffin
talking about FTX, and I just want to talk a little bit after the clip about he's being a little bit of a hypocrite here. There's Ken Griffin on FTX.
FTX crosses into a zone that all of us are worried about. You know, on the balance sheet of FTX is a line called Trump lose. And Sam was the second biggest donor to Democratic candidates.
I'm going to leave it to everybody else to draw their own conclusions about what you're saying here.
Right? Those are really, really ugly facts when you see a fraud of this magnitude having played out, and you find no regulators were there to prevent it. That's a really, really tough story.
I forgot it was edited in that headline. But yeah, who cares if he's donating to Democrat campaigns? Like, bro, you donated like 4 times more to the other side. So
yeah, no, I mean a lot of.
Although one could argue Ken Griffin's money is, you know, acquired through fraud. Sam Bankman-Fried, his definitely was acquired through fraud. So
I know. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who, you know, I know Griffin donated 100. I know the other guy donated 40. I mean, there's probably a lot of like dark money going into, you know, from certain industries going into the races. I mean,
and what was this fraudulent money? Like, what else is it propping up? It's you're going down the rabbit hole.
No, I know. I mean, the other thing too about FTX that I think that, you know, the people are probably going to, and at least the government will, is obviously, like you said, they're going to use this to regulate. But I think once this all settles down and everything, you know, kind of the dust clears a little bit. I mean, is there really a will right now to regulate this? I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people in New York, a lot of people in Florida, you know, a lot of financial firms are now in Florida, believe it or not, North Carolina. I don't know if the will is going to be there to, you know, get aboard that train, you know. But I don't know. I mean, it's such a crazy story, and like you know, we're only in like the second chapter. I mean, somebody had to know something. Like, someone's going to come out with a tell-all in the next week and just be like, you know, go to Fox, and not go to Fox, go CNN, go somewhere. I mean, probably the highest bidder and just let loose.
I don't know.
I mean, and the other thing too is if you know, like the wicked tinfoil hat is that people are starting to accuse us of like FTX of money laundering. Yeah, no, I know. It's like, you know, I mean, no, I mean they do though. They're starting to accuse money laundering and like who did this really go to and all this stuff, and you know everything's liquidated. They can't find the money. Where is it? Like, I mean,
I'll get tinfoily for you if you really want.
I mean, they didn't have good books. I mean, obviously,
don't threaten me with a good time.
Records. Yeah. I mean, there's so much shit on fucking YouTube, not YouTube, Twitter, and you know everything. I mean,
I saw a guy on Twitter, shout out Bob Maddick, shared a headline. I don't know, you know, it was a headline. I shared it with my friends, and they said you're freaking crazy. Listen, people are saying failed crypto exchange FTX was ran by 10 people who lived together and were involved romantically. Who knows what that fat vegan gets up to, that freak.
who's the woman? I remember Zero has something about her about how she didn't.
That wasn't even my tinfoil, dude.
That wasn't even. I don't know, man. Some of it's just out of control. I mean, it kind of screams like MF Global in a way. you know, where all that stuff went to hell so quickly, and all the, you know, people were seizing money, and no one could follow it, you know, and no one probably still knows what exactly happened there with Corzine, and Corzine still walks free among us, which is interesting.
My real tinfoil that I had, I just had to scroll up in a chat so that I could get the other company.
Yeah.
Remember on, what was it, Friday, when Eli Lilly tanked and Lockheed Martin tanked,
Yeah.
and it was blamed on fake Twitter accounts that had paid for the verification?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The tinfoil is, that's not, the markets didn't get fooled by fake Twitter accounts, and that's why the company's share price tanked. It's orchestrated. That's my tinfoil. This is purposefully generated. Those tweets were intentionally put out so they could blame it on something else, not, you know, our firm had a lot of holdings in FTX, and they're maybe going bankrupt in the next few days. You know, what are we going to do with all this worthless shit?
Yeah.
We got to sell a bunch of Eli Lilly and Lockheed Martin. I did think it was funny that it was like the fake Lockheed account was like Lockheed Martini.
Yeah, I saw that. We were at,
I don't believe that that's why the two stocks tanked, because of fake tweets, and the market effect was like hours and even days later.
No,
I'm not buying it.
No, not at all. I mean, no, not at all. I mean, it's not like you know, it's unfortunate when people, like, you know, do that. I mean, when people make stuff up like that. I mean, obviously something's going on. I mean, tweets from freaking 5 days ago aren't going to affect the market. It's that simple. I don't think there's a situation in the market where tweets from like a week ago have affected the stock price that much. I mean,
if the algorithms can be fooled that easily,
it's pretty bad.
I mean, these hedge funds, they're not as smart as they project, right?
No, not at all. I mean,
timing didn't check out.
No.
Stock had already been down 4% when the tweet was out. Other insulin producers, NVO and SNY, it didn't follow.
Yeah. I mean, like, just think of, like, you know, I guess, like, to think of it when, like, Amazon's earnings, like, come out, you know, and it hits, like, Twitter, it hits, you know, the wires. I mean, the algos and the algorithms hit, like, in minutes, you know, and, like, after hours and whatnot.
It's a funny tweet.
Yeah, let's start. Well,
we're excited. It's a funny tweet.
Yeah, I mean, whoever did that, my God, and it's like, dude.
You got the response from the real Twitter account, LilyPad.
Yeah. Poor Eli Lilly. They're not a bad company.
No, they're scumbags.
I know. Just kidding.
Insulin's outrageously expensive. I had no idea. I mean, I knew it was expensive.
Yeah, it is.
How expensive when you put a dollar amount on it.
Yeah,
I've always just been like, oh, it sucks for people that have diabetes. It's an extra cost. It's a lot of an extra cost.
Yeah, it is a lot of an extra cost. The other big news.
I was joking with my friend. One of my buddies works for Lockheed, and he calls it a small business. I'm like, man, you hate to see a small business take a hit like that.
It's like a multi-billion-dollar company. I mean, they have like offices all over the world. I don't think they're quote unquote a small business.
Yeah, there's a big one in Syracuse.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, right on I-90.
I was actually really surprised over this. To see, you know, inflation's finally, you know, not growing like crazy anymore in the United States. You know, we had a little bit of a dip from the prior month. By the way, the market going up 1,000 points. Talk about like the biggest overreaction ever. But, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, a couple hundred fine, but 1,000 or whatever the heck it was just out of control. But it's good to see Jay Powell fighting the good fight. You know, man, it's good to see he isn't, you know, compromised. I was actually really, I mean, I was really surprised that day. And then, I mean, the market's basically continued to rally. You know, it's up to 33 and change. I mean, 33,500 now, which is a little surprised by that.
Dow was all right today.
Yeah, it was down like 30 something. What was it?
Compared to everything else, I still got the red light. I had the red light on, even on green days. It's not like me. I needed to keep it red, baby.
How was GME doing? I haven't had a chance.
Hanging tough. Funny you should ask, Robbie.
Yeah.
Today was the all-time lowest volume day ever. Like going back, I mean, you'd have to go back to like 2010.
Hey man,
2.2 million.
Keep DRS on those shares, man.
There's 300 million shares of this company out there, and 2.2 exchanged hands today. I think not, sir.
DRS, man. You gotta pay a lot of money to borrow. No, I mean you do. You know, Fed funds is what, like 3 something. It's not easy borrowing, man. You're probably paying like 10, 11% now, easy.
Let me pull it up.
I mean,
oh, not the cost to borrow. I was pulling up DRS.
No. Yeah.
See what the new high score is. I believe last time we were at like 56 and change.
What?
58.04%.
Hey,
it's roughly, I saw somebody, issued shares 304 million and 2.2 exchanged hands today. That's really bizarre.
Not with 58.8 or freaking directly registered, man.
I saw somebody a comment on Reddit today, and I don't know if this is accurate. It very well may be. 500,000 shares are being directly registered every week. And growing. The pace is only getting more rapid.
Wouldn't surprise me, honestly, at the post. I mean, people get it, you know. I mean, look, people have like gone, especially with this, you know, the whole FTX thing. I mean, people understand how important it is. When you directly register, they can't be borrowed, they can't be on the open market. I mean, a lot of those people who woke up to their, you know, the crypto portfolio when FTX limited withdrawals were probably like, hey, I need to get out. And then they realized that their Bitcoins that they thought they owned were sold off or borrowed or whatever. You know, can't deal with it. You know, it's like it's not really yours.
I got a good tweet for us. I got a good tweet about that. Hang on a second. So I'm looking for, well, we can actually scroll together here. I'm looking for Dr. Suzanne Trimbath. She tweeted today and said something about, here it is. This is actually it. Like any Ponzi scheme, they keep working as long as new money is coming in. When investors insist on buying shares directly from issuers without intermediaries, the music stops. So what she's talking about is when you keep buying shares from your broker, it's going to still happen. When you directly register your shares and you buy directly from ComputerShare, it's going to be over quick.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
That's the hypothesis.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, if they can't borrow, if they can't, like,
and then back to.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. If they can't lend your shares out and hammer the price down that way, it's game over.
Yeah.
So you mentioned FTX. Just to bring this back, I have another clip on FTX. Here's Mr. Wonderful. You might know him from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary on FTX.
I think what we need now is to flush out the auxiliary collapses that are going to occur because of accounts that, let's say, public mining companies had with FTX or other hedge funds that have obviously over the weekend gone to zero in their accounts. Now, first, I have some disclosures here. Okay, number one, I'm a paid spokesperson of FTX, so I've been dealing with their management. I've spoken to Sam last week on Thursday. I also have corporate accounts in FTX. I'm also a shareholder of FTX International and FTX US. So now we got that out of the way, I just want to make sure I'm being very transparent on this. But we're not finished with the collateral damage. And so to your question, this is a bottoming process. An event like this is very important because it's finally going to have several impacts in areas that we need. It's going to accelerate regulation, number one. As we speak, I'm at the governor's conference in Orlando. This is topic number one in financial services. The amount of discussion going on last night and certainly today about this situation is going to move. It's definitely going to move legislation in the House. There's no question about that. This is a defining moment. But what we don't know is how many other dominoes are going to fall yet. We need that to finish out.
Let's be confident that it's going to move in the House, huh? It's okay.
This is a stain. It's a stain. This should have never been allowed to happen for so long.
No, I know. I mean, think of it. Think of it. What it does to the United States financial system's integrity. That this is allowed to happen. It's not just this event. I mean, the whole, Robin Hood. You couldn't hit the buy button on GME. I mean, give me all those hedge funds got bailed out. Citadel. I mean, there's just been a lot of stains in the financial system in general. Where the little guy's gotten killed. We've talked about, this one obviously trumps them all, but it's like who's minding the store,
Yeah.
And who's, is like the federal audit standards board going to do anything about this? Are they going to is anyone getting hacksaws out and going ripping apart who audited those financials?
Well, I know I shared her tweet, Dr. Trimbath. She's vocal about calling this stuff out. Dave Lauer is another one. But Dr. T used to work for the DTCC, and she's an author and economist, says here in her bio. She's really freaking smart, and she knows what kind of criminality goes on in the system, so to speak, and she calls it out. Yeah, no, I mean, people call her, GameStop and AMC holders. People call them the apes. She's affectionately known as Queen Kong.
It's just
she's doing a lot of good, man. I like her.
I think a lot of this stuff does need to get called out because there isn't enough changes for it. Hey, look, hit the post. 13 years ago, freaking someone audited freaking, Repo 105 with Lehman, and we're literally, 14 years later, someone did the same shit, basically. Misrepresented their books, and there hasn't been anything done about it.
One big scam, and everybody's talking about how great the company is. If you look back at Enron, they were, people loved Enron. And
people were tripping over themselves about it.
There's a fantastic documentary. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. Enron, the smartest guys in the room, breaks it down, the whole thing. I love it. I've watched it a whole bunch of times. I basically did a whole report in college. I watched the movie and I just took notes and I described the Enron collapse. I just summarized the movie.
Is that on Netflix or what is it?
Well, I did watch it on Netflix a while ago. No free ads, but I am going to plug this site. This is where I go to check where something's streaming. Movierankings.net. If you're familiar with Barstool, that's Jeff D. Lowe and Ken Jack. It's their creation.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that. But, I mean, we'll definitely have it covered here on Stock Talk Live. You don't have to worry about that, folks.
I actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I fear that they haven't watched that one, but we'll see.
I think, what's it called? Yeah. So, another topic is, everyone's interest rates are finally starting to fall off a little bit. The 10 years.
They didn't have it.
Oh, they didn't have it? Oh, no kidding. I mean, the 10 years at 3.7 now. So hopefully that'll bring some relief to the housing market, which is just getting killed. Because today, what was it? Was the home sales came out? Not home sales, but was it? I think it was the builders index came out, and it just fell like a rock, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean,
you can watch Enron, The Smartest Guys in the Room, for free. It says on Roku and Vudu. It's available on Hulu, YouTube with a primetime subscription. I've never even heard of that. Google Play, it's only $2.99 to watch, which is a bargain. Apple TV offering it for $3.99, and it is on Amazon Prime as well. Fantastic. I would definitely recommend it. Because I was younger. I had heard of Enron and all this stuff. They're bad people, but I was a kid, so I wasn't really following it. As an adult, I'm more interested in that, what happened there, especially being an accountant by trade. It was interesting because it's not only the downfall of Enron, it's the downfall of Arthur Andersen, as we mentioned before.
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah. Throw that in there.
You gonna watch it?
I probably will eventually.
Have you never seen it?
No, I never have, to be honest with you.
It's really good.
I never have. I meant to. I mean,
I must have watched it 3 times, I swear.
I watched
it's under 2 hours. Sorry.
I watched a documentary about the Lehman Brothers collapse and whatnot. I mean, that was really, some of that was interesting. I mean, the final days when when they were going to not Barclays, when Bank of America merged with Merrill, and then they were doing all this stuff with Barclays, and Barclays didn't pull the trigger until here, yeah, that's what the link I just posted.
Oh, I got this in the private chat.
Yeah, I mean, the home builder confidence rate, it's not good. I mean, decade lows and for that in housing is not good at all. I mean, for home builders and home, buyers, it's just, I mean, housing continues to fall. I mean, I read somewhere today that Massachusetts, their prices are starting to drop, and the sales are starting to go down, and the prices are starting to drop a little bit, which is, what we've been saying on Stock Talk Live, folks. So, better listen up. Speak the truth here,
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, I know, and I think it's just only going to accelerate, unfortunately.
Months.
Yeah. And I think definitely it's just going to accelerate over the next 6 to 9 months. I mean, I don't think this is
I feel like we've been talking about this since before July.
Yeah.
So I went to go visit my buddy for 4th of July, and I remember his parents were selling their gorgeous home.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, now? But I think they might have sold at about a peak. So happy for them. House it's a done deal now. But yeah. I remember that was for 4th of July. So, I mean, housing has been a concern since at least June, guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, what was it? Oil's starting to run. I mean, it's at 84, which kind of surprised me. I actually thought after the election that oil would go higher because they're not doing those huge SPR reserves anymore, releases anymore. But I guess, what do you know? Gas is creeping up to $4 a gallon again. It's like Jesus Christ.
It's so bizarre that like 87 is around me like 380-ish, and then the jump to 89 is a full $1.
Yeah, I know. I think it's like 30 cents where I live, in Weymouth and in Quincy. Yeah, 30 or 40 cents. I know diesel's up to like $6 a gallon, which is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's not going to get any better. I mean, I think we all know that. And then, I mean, the G20 was today. Trudeau got dressed down by Z. That was good times. Such a clip on Twitter.
I watched Trump's speech last night, and he actually had a really funny joke about the G20 because they met yesterday as well as today. But the joke was, and I miss Trump's jokes. He said the G20 met today. Joe Biden flew out, had a great dinner. G20 still looking for him.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He announced last night, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I know.
We were very happy, very, very happy.
He
I got some reply guy in Jerry's replies going after me.
They I don't know. I was surprised the market didn't rally more on the election because gridlock is great. Nothing can get done. It's perfect. No, I mean it's what the market wants. Nothing gets done, especially in this polarized, House and Senate. Nothing's going to get done, and it's basically
Senate might even be deadlocked.
Oh yeah, Walker wins Georgia.
I don't foresee it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the market would probably shoot up like 2 or 3% easy if that actually did happen, because that's the perfect deadlock. Then nothing can get done.
Yeah,
because the filibuster's not going to get broken because SEMA and Manchin and Kelly and all those, whatever. And then, and you still cannot gamble legally in Massachusetts. I mean, you still can't place an online bet in Mass. And
ooh,
yeah, dude.
Because I had a comment on that. It was from today. I saw it. Just 1 second, because I related it to gambling. Huh. Well, it was New York had lost due to like fraudulent unemployment claims $11 billion since 2020.
Yeah.
And
it's no surprise.
My take was good thing they turned on online sports betting to offset that.
Yeah, I know.
Get some money in, because before that was all going over the border to New Jersey.
Yeah. No, it's insane. I mean, I was just kidding around. It's insane how just like how all that unemployment fraud and stuff. And for all those wondering what the heck we're talking about this on a finance show, I mean, when people are just getting this money, I mean, it's obviously if these people are willing to defraud the government, it's probably not going to the best things.
Which is sad because PPP helped out a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely, it did.
Being somebody who filled out forgiveness applications, I know it helped out a lot of people. You say, what was this money going to? Everybody's wagging their finger. What were you using those PPP dollars for? To pay people and to pay utilities. That's what it had to go to.
Oh, exactly. And I think unfortunately, now that the PP money has either been spent or drawn up or whatever you want to call it.
Thank God. I hate dealing with that.
Yeah, no, but
what a pain in the ass.
No, but what's really sad now is that, I mean, and I guess this is the state of the economy. This is kind of one of those telltale canary in the coal mines, is that what was it, 37% of small businesses right now, I think restaurants, small businesses, etc., they defaulted on the rent last month. I mean, that's a terrible sign. I mean,
very, very bad.
Yeah. I mean, what you should do right now is just pay off your, it's not financial advice, but just pay off what you need to pay off. Because, I mean, you see numbers like that. I mean, that's just not good. I mean, it really isn't.
Don't make any student loan payments, not federal ones.
Yeah, but didn't that get busted by the Court of Appeals or something? I mean,
it's tied up. It's tied up right now.
Yeah.
So I had 2 clips left.
Oh, yeah,
they're both related to banking. So they're both actually not American guys. So accents for both of them. Getting into fractional lending with this one, he kind of explains how money started.
The history of money is actually really quite interesting. It was kind of like an accidental discovery. People held their wealth in their homes in gold and silver. And then this group of individuals created what they call these safe houses. And safe houses is where people could go and give their silver, give their gold, and put it on deposit. And then the safe house would actually then give you a note of credit. And say, you have 20 pieces of silver and 4 pieces of gold on deposit. Here's your note. And anytime they needed that money for transactions, they'd go back to the safe house, they'd give them their note, they'd get their gold, they'd update the note, and you'd go back out into the market. And over time, they stopped going back to the safe houses to get the gold, and they just started exchanging the notes in the marketplace. And those credit notes became the first form of currency. And then these safe houses started to become very organised and go, no one's coming back for the gold. We should loan the gold out. So they started loaning the gold out that wasn't theirs and charging interest for it. And then they became even smarter and they went, we don't even need to give out the gold. We can just write these notes of credit. So we're not even giving out the gold. We're just giving out these notes of credit. And that became the basis of what we refer to as fractional reserve lending. Now, let's take a step back for a second. Let's say I started loaning you money that I don't have and charging you interest for it. What would that be called? That's called fraud. Okay, but that's the foundation of like 99% of the world banking system.
It's true.
And just on that, the creation of money, just curious, Robbie, do you know what the oldest profession is ever?
No, I do not. Definitely not.
Prostitution. Second oldest is accountancy.
I did not know that.
Because the prostitutes needed somebody to keep their books. It's true.
Yeah.
Per Dr. Consular and my finance professor.
It's probably right. I mean, I think a lot of the banks, though, probably have better reserves than hopefully we.
Yeah, I don't think it's as criminal as he's making it out to be, but it does happen.
No, it definitely does happen.
I mean, this is a common occurrence. But yeah, if everybody, I think that's widely accepted. If everybody went to the bank and said, I want to take my money out in cash, at some point, somebody's not going to get any money.
No, absolutely. I mean, I don't think banks have a lot of,
Yeah, single locations, right?
Yeah, C notes hanging around. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, at least not tapped to a freaking, dye bag or a tracer. I mean, you could just walk into a bank and get like, $50,000. Pretty straight.
Yeah, nothing from the bottom of the drawer. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to call ahead for that one. I mean, but banks are in an interesting time right now. I mean, not just. I mean, forget about like we've talked about Deutsche. Deutsche is going to do what Deutsche is going to do. But like, I mean, think about it. If you're a banker right now, I mean, you're paying a lot of interest. The housing market's going to hell. I mean, where do you go? Like, are you just banking on this recession and make a lot of personal loans at like 12, 13%?
We're worried at work about getting payment from a customer and hoping that this doesn't become a regular thing where people are delinquent on payments for purchases, but it might.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that could be it's a real issue. I mean, look at the I don't have the tweet on top of my head, but there was a tweet from the repo yard out in for cars and whatnot, and it was like overflowing. Like repos, if you're a repo guy right now, I mean, you're just taking out a Mac 10 and being like, "What's up?" Like, give me your car. I mean, you know, a lot of these guys are now. I mean, this has been going on now, this decline for 4 or 5 months, and you know, chickens have come home to roost, and you know, and the value. A lot of people who bought at the top for the used cars. I mean, it makes more sense for them just to flip the keys than to actually pay the note. You know, I think it was a video. I don't remember. I need to start saving this, or just send them to you, or send them to Boner Jams chat and whatnot. Yeah. No, I mean, it's just. I think cars are a first sign of things starting to crack a little bit. I mean, will you see a lot of foreclosures coming? I mean, you might, especially with like, you know, home heating oil costs and all that stuff. I mean, that might be the next domino to fall in all this thing. I mean, I don't know.
We paid heating oil at work, and or we got the invoice for it. Full tank, we have never paid that much to that vendor ever. The last time would be that we had anything close to that was last January. Like, it's November.
Yeah, we have.
But based on the reading of the invoice, I think it was a full tank. But yeah, record high.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, like, you know, what to what happens with all this. I mean, we're just starting to get into it, so it's definitely going to be.
I think there's a long way down to go. Everybody asks.
No, there is.
I think there's a long way down to go. Do have one more clip on banking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had to look this up because it was just shared as British MEP, and I didn't know what that stood for. It's a member of European Parliament. This is Godfrey Bloom talking about banking. He brings up that fractional reserve lending that the other guy mentioned.
It is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
That was right.
Boom.
Boom. It's like
British people love the word chicanery.
Yeah, no.
Like if you ever watch F1 and they got like the British announcers on, they'll say like through the chicane instead of like this turn.
I mean, I think, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this.
Again, he's exaggerating in that clip.
No, he's exaggerating, but I mean, I think there's been a lot of recklessness among.
I do too, but I think he's maybe simplifying it. I don't know.
Yeah, he is simplifying it, but I mean, there has been a lot of recklessness among the Fed. I mean, they should have been raising interest rates well before they should have. Should have been. This inflation problem never would have happened. And the quantitative easing, I mean, it hasn't produced the growth that it should have. Was it worth it? No. I mean, the Fed balance sheet right now is ridiculous. I mean, it's all tied up in MBSs, and they can barely sell anything off of their interest rates going to the moon. So they're in a box. I mean, the banks that he mentioned, like RBS, Santander, and whatnot. I mean, I think everyone in the industry probably loans out money they don't have. I don't know. I mean,
because the wheel keeps turning.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing too is like, his comment about, well, these guys should be arrested. Well,
yep.
They had a hell of a lot of people they could have put in shackles in 08, but they just looked the other way, took their cash, and that's reality. I mean,
you watch Enron. A lot of people from that whole story did do a lot of prison time.
Oh yeah.
What was his name? Ron Skinner, I think, did like 22 years.
Yeah, I mean, their energy traders were just apocalyptic. I mean, if anyone's watching,
I'm definitely gonna watch that documentary again. I don't care if it's $3.
Yeah, and it's just
$3, well worth it. I say it's really informative and it's funny. It's like they've got all these old Enron commercials included. It's really, really well done. And I have no stake in this. I just really like the documentary.
Oh, I mean,
from 05.
That's from wow, it's 05. Damn.
Under 2 hours, hour and 50, folks. Enron, the smartest guys in the room.
I mean, I just think as we kind of head towards the top of the hour, I don't know what's going to happen, but God, strap in, man. Just the signs are there. Like something big is just, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what, but just something's going to happen.
I didn't clip it, but Carl Icahn did an interview, I think last week or this last show.
Yeah.
And the guy asked him, what's one long or something? What's one position that you really like? And he gave like two, but he said there's another one that he likes that he thinks is cheap, and it's got earnings coming up, and he can't say anything. And a lot of people think it's GameStop after the picture with Ryan Cohen. A lot of people think he's investing into GameStop, or there's some kind of big move. I suggested that they cut out Bye Bye Baby and give that to Ryan Cohen, and you take the rest of Bed Bath & Beyond, Mr. Icon.
Look, if the right person got into Bye Bye Baby, they could turn that into the freaking Walmart tomorrow.
GameStop Kids. It's already trademarked.
Yeah,
it's been trademarked. I'm on it, man. I know.
No, I mean they could.
And we showed it on the show.
I mean, because there's Babies R Us isn't around anymore. Gymboree, I don't even know a store in fucking Massachusetts, New Hampshire, or wherever the hell they're located. I mean, there probably is one for whatever, but I mean, it's a golden opportunity. You can compete with the Targets if in the Walmarts and whatever, like it's not hard. You can do it. They got a great model. You walk in those stores, you're out, and it's perfect.
So on Amazon, the big story with them laying off 10,000 people.
Oh, dude, that's
like sensationalist, right? Because 10,000 workers is like 0.5% of their hourly workers and 3% of corporate.
But
they have a shitload of people that work there. That's not that,
No, it isn't.
Say 10,000 people freak out.
It's indicative of
not
the
even
economy.
4%.
Yeah, but it's indicative of the economy with them. Meta. What was it? Who's the other one today? Not Micron. Like Intel, Cisco,
Twitter.
I mean, I know Elon Musk is paying people 3 months severance if You want to work there? Get the fuck out. Hey, take your 3 months.
I think employees have until 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean 3 months is.
Or don't come to work on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, it's one way to go.
That's pretty good. 3 months pay.
Yeah, I got.
You got more?
No.
I've seen somebody at a company that I used to work at got a whole year.
Yeah, I knew someone.
Every time I'm processing payroll, I see we're paying this guy.
I knew someone who. I
I
didn't
think it
know
was
him
a year over 6 months.
Yeah, I didn't know him personally, but I knew someone who got a year sub. Good for him.
And these people that get those kind of packages, they're definitely going to get another job pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it isn't.
Oh, you pay taxes on that extra income.
That's all right. It's all right. Kind of hit the 9 o'clock hour, I think.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to say, because I read somebody on the internet shared this with that missile that hit Poland. The reports yesterday, I was following that. Those are my people. That's why I'm so pasty white. Those are my people over there. I was trying to, because every article I was seeing was, Poland says, or per Poland, or Poland news reports, and nobody would confirm that it had a Russian missile did land. They couldn't confirm who fired it. Yeah, and now it's looking like it was air defense from the Ukraine. Just my closing thought, saw it on the internet. People said, if there's imminent war, don't sell your stocks. Buy more if you can. Because if we're all going to die, the trade's not going to go through anyway.
That's the truth. I hope cooler heads prevail on that. There was a lot of media outlets that were pretty irresponsible yesterday and definitely caused a lot of financial headaches.
Yeah. Disinformation, warmongering, propaganda. Yeah. That's why I really didn't comment on it too much until I saw that. Because, even when I got home from work, I'm like, the Pentagon hasn't even confirmed this. Like, what?
Oh, it's just.
I'm like, insane. I'm ready to rumble. Like, if I find out Putin's firing missiles on my people over there, my brethren, shove a kielbasa up your dupa, man.
Likewise. And on that note, I think there's only one thing left to do.
Oh yeah. Don't forget. Pump it up.
Pump it up.
See you next time.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know?